Hello builders, I just wanted to show you how I built my wingtip bow for the Pitts S111B. Basically just laminated some wood together. It's not a detailed instruction on how it was done, but it at least gives you an idea as to how I did it. First I started off with some MDF board and built, per the plans, the correct bow diameter, dimensions and so forth. These are clamping holes that I'm putting together here. This is some of the materials. You'll need some isopropyl alcohol. It doesn't have to be 91%. It can just be any alcohol, just to clean up the mess of the wet epoxy. Have a mixing cup and an acid brush. You don't want to use a cup that it has wax in it, so use a plastic cup. You'll need some packing tape. This is a mold release, and a tiny nail. We'll go over that a little bit later, as well as a hammer and your clamps, of course. So I started off here just ripping the pieces of wood. This is Sitka spruce. I found it was easier just to buy the lumber and cut it myself, lay it all out onto a flat table after giving it a light sanding, apply some epoxy, and at one end you're going to put a nail. Remember that little nail, that's going to secure everything. I didn't go over the clamping because I was having to record. I would have to be recording and clamp at the same time. Where the little clamp is, that's where the nail goes, and that's where you start clamping. You'll notice that there's clamps on the top as well as the side. Those are just to make sure that everything doesn't squish out. It gets very slippery when you put the epoxy on. Those keep it level. You'll notice that all of these blocks have a little bit of packing tape put on them so that it works like a mold release. There's the packing tape. You don't even have to put it on very pretty. It leaves a nice shine on top. But that really doesn't matter because you're going to end up sanding that all off. Don't worry about getting glue spillage or anything. They look pretty ugly when they come out of the mold. But once you hit them with a belt sander or an orbital sander, they really clean up. That little piece that I just popped off there is a sacrificial, it's almost like a washer, and it keeps the clamps from denting into the original wood. It also keeps a nice round curve. Otherwise you would have little flat spots where the clamps clamp on. That piece could almost be a little bit bigger, and it is coated with one long strip of packing tape. That's what the top looks like. That might be the bottom, I don't know. I made a part a little bit longer than was necessary just because I had some extra material there and I wanted to try something interesting. Again, that's just a piece of wood with a piece of packing tape on it so it keeps it from adhering to the original part. I wasn't sure exactly how much extra I wanted, so I just kept it long. When you bend it around the radius, you'll get a stepping action like that, and that's what that little nail on the far side, we're working our way up to that nail, holds everything in place. Otherwise it just squishes, it's completely out of control. You can see the nail a little bit on the far left side. You'll see it again here a little later. There goes that's a sacrificial piece that keeps the part nice and round, nice and curved, eliminates the dents. There's the nail. You want to put that in on the table right after you laminate all the pieces together with epoxy, flat on the table, just nail it through. It does not go into the MDF board. It just goes through the sticks, so you've got to measure it just to be the right size. So all the clamps, of course, have been removed. And you can see here how easy it comes out of the mold. You can see that the mold is a little darker. The wood is darker because prior to putting the masking tape down, I spray painted it with just a clear lacquer so that I can remove the tape easily without removing chunks of MDF board. And that's all. So you got a nice shiny surface there, but that's all going to go away again because we're going to sand it. I used, actually I even tried running it through a table saw, but that seemed to be quite dangerous. You want to remove all of your packing tape right away, right after you pull one out of the mold. Don't try and reuse the packing tape. Just clean it all up, clean it with alcohol, and then lay new packing tape down. It doesn't even have to look real nice. Be careful, you've got a lot of sharp edges from the epoxy. That'll all sand off and look really nice. Kind of gives you an idea as to what it's going to look like after you epoxy it up once it's all complete. So I hope this all helps, and happy building.